Because even the criteria, for example, if you close your doors and people don't know that you have to apply in order to benefit from the government treasury, somebody could actively do it. Is their criteria open for everyone to know what it takes for someone to benefit from UDC?
Okay. Professor?
On the following, we appropriated money for Soroti Fruit Factory. We visited it. There were some gaps. We appreciated and provided money. What is going on? Are we making progress? That's one. Number two, on our unfunded priorities, number 16, sort of coffee processing in Wakiso. You know the struggles we have had with the executive and the president in particular, with Peneti. And this committee was very firm that we cannot allow somebody without experience and money to engage in value addition of Uganda's coffee. And we have been very firm. Now, if there is somebody in Wakiso who can deal with this matter, why don't we support? Even in Shema, we have Ankole Farmers, a very strong processing company. We could have a consortium of 3 processors, maybe with this cooperative union, with Shema, Ankole Farmers, and then this Wakiso, and we start value addition and deal and export coffee. We shall have addressed the issue the president has been raising. I would like to know what is happening with this Wakiso Sorowe coffee processing plant. Number 3, in unfunded priorities, I see Shema tea processing factory. You would need 19 billion. As far as I know, there was an investor who wanted land. And we identified land in Shema South. One in Bugonji Town Council, it is 70 hectares. And the investor wanted 10. We have other hectares in Shuk Town Council. We processed the request through the district councils and we provided the land titles. So we are waiting for the investor. So why do you need 19 billion? For what? For us, land is there, the investor is there.
Which project is that?
Shema tea processing factory. So why would you want money? For what? Because the investor is there. What we did is that investor to quickly come and start work. So why do you want this money? Maybe even others, why do you want money? When they are investors, why do you want money? I would need an explanation on that. Finally, we're talking about here my colleagues who has been frustrated. Definitely our colleagues across cannot tell you their personal interests. They can't. They cannot. So I think what we should do, Chair, we identify money within the ceiling somewhere which is not being utilized by UDC. We put it in the budget, we make sure the budget committee approves it and Parliament, and we give that lady the money because we have the power. They will not tell us the reasons why they are frustrating that person. They can't. Would they? They wouldn't.
Maybe they will.
It would be interesting to know what's happening in Soroti Fruit Factory, and also just to know why you don't. I know it's an ongoing investment, but I don't see anything allocated to it. So did you hand it over? Is it no longer your responsibility? And then I wanted, Chair, to raise, as I look at the overall picture of what we are funding. Chair, you know that the sectors that are promoting the economy and to which we want to increase effort is coffee, sugar, fruits, poultry, tourism. Let's assume that tourism is investing in tourism. The focus therefore on things like coffee become very urgent. So when I see cassava, when I see construction, I still feel like what would bring us money is coffee, and we've already proven it. So just to add on what Professor said, if we can't do soluble coffee in Uganda, why doesn't it become an immediate project for us so that we can secure that money for an economy. Why are we going to invest in construction when we still have a whole fleet of list of items that would increase our foreign exchange not attended to? I thank you, Chair.
And we'll be reminding them from time to time. One of the regions is Bunyoro sub-region. Honorable Chair, I'm noting every time these people come here, despite our constant reminders that people equally deserve a share on the national cake, I want to know how far they have gone with regional balancing. Because every time they're starting project after project, but some regions have consistently been left out. I need an answer from them, and I thank you.
Professor, is there a project from your region that has applied?
Honorable Chair, maybe possibly could.
Most of the challenges we are facing is because of limited capitalization for UDC. We went to cabinet and we got approval of cabinet to increase the capitalization of UDC from 500 to 5 trillion. So that now means that we have a headroom to get more money from government so that we implement most of these projects. But as we have seen, year in, year out, we always get an average of 50 billion. And if you remove wage and non-wage operations of around 14 billion, you are remaining with 26 billion. So to really expect, yes, we shall do what we can, but to expect much from this institution, which is supposed to spearhead investment and industrialization of the country, with just a mere 26 billion, which is less than 10 million US dollars, a serious factory takes a minimum of 20 million US dollars, serious factory. But every year we are getting less than 10 million US dollars for putting up and supporting factories. It's just, it's not really going to be helpful. So I think as we look for these projects, which is very important, it's important that we take a stand as a nation and as parliament, that let us put money in UDC and do substantial work to develop to industrialize the country. We have all these workers, if you look at them, they are very, but the minister was suggesting that given the concerns that have come from the members, even with the limited resource that we have, you could give us some limited time. We'll go back and see if there is any way we can revise these allocations so that we take care of the glaring concerns by the members. That was our request. But the most important thing really is we must capitalize UDC if we are going to have an effect on industrialization of the country. These industries require resources, but every year we are getting less than 10 million US dollars, which cannot put up even one factory.
Okay. But you see, Honorable Minister, we also have those that are making that have reached a point where we should pull out. Why not sell our shares and get more money to capitalize new projects? We have Minyonyo, you know it. We have the cotton factory in eastern Uganda we visited. There are those tea factories in Uzori. What, Mavale? Mavale, we put money, they are making losses. At what point do we pull out? Should we wait for all our shares to be depleted?
Owned by UDC, and it was a strategic decision taken that because they're in the hospitality sector, they deal with issues on behalf of UDC. But it's so 100% owned by UDC.
So under UDC now you have created a sub-investment arm. Because Nile Hotel, now you went and made Nile Hotel now also start becoming an investment arm, buying shares in other companies.
Chair, I showed you two investments that were passed on to UDC. So it's one that was passed on to us.
Yes, it was passed on to you. You manage it. Serena rents Nile Hotel and pays us rent. But now Nile Hotel has started buying shares in companies. How?
Chair, kept UDC as a subvention under Ministry of Trade. Because when we talk of capitalizing UDC, give it more money to be able to support all these interventions. But we keep holding on to it as a subvention instead of getting them their own vote, and they have their own reporting, direct reporting and accounting. What is your comment on that? Why are we holding on to it to remain a child in the ministry? And
Say subvention?
yes, it is.
Under the Ministry of Trade?
Yes.
Respond.
The subvention has advantages and disadvantages of a vote holding, because UDC is an investment arm of the government, and it should have the flexibility to do investments. One of the flexibility that we need is to have resources to invest. But if you are going to have resources, that's why capitalization is important. If you are going to have resources, even this 10 billion we are talking about, you are releasing in quotas. It will not work very well. But if it remains, that's when it becomes a vote. You are going to be. So we need really to capitalize it, put money in UDC, give it the flexibility it requires, so that if I'm to purchase set up a factory, I have all the resources at a go, because you can't put up a factory in installments. You owe the factory at a go. So we have all these problems, but we can study the advantages and disadvantages of having the subvention. But at the moment, the biggest problem we have is that we do not have enough capitalization to do the required industrialization that you are talking about.
Okay, the Honorable Minister wanted to say something.
I didn't want to say something. I wanted to emphasize on what our minister has just said. All what was raised by your members is true, and it needs immediate attention. We are talking very little, UDC being an engine that drives industrial development as its formation and its reason of its existence. We started off, as he said, by raising the capital from DC budgetary capitalization, which is 500, as he said, to 5 trillion. And that 5 trillion is necessary. But for the existing projects which we have been talking about, we have noted some anomalies that have been done by UDC, and we are asking to be given a chance before we raise up the capital. But the raising of capital is an obligation. We have had it passed by cabinet, and the next thing it will be by you. And when we present to you the current situation as it is happening, we are talking about the cocoa, the what. After we have taken out these anomalies, whatever the little is there, we should be able to streamline some, but the need of increased capital is there. Hundreds of projects are lying idle, and I think UDC is the only best way of capitalizing. I'm sorry to say this, I sometimes get a little bit worried of giving money to Uganda Development Bank, other than giving it, even if you are intending to finance development through government. I would rather that the money they give to Uganda Development Bank, which you appropriate, should even go to UDC, because UDC has easier means of people to access capital. But cutting the story short, on this particular case, we are going to look at all what has been raised by members, especially about the existing projects. And I guess, you said by the way,
by
No, we have to, if you need,
I'm just requesting.
if you need time, you have up to 3 p.m. today. Yes.
It's not possible.
But these policy statements are prepared by you. So if you need to make any adjustments, it should be before 3 today.
You can do that? Okay. And I guess my technical people are listening. But we need to do some adjustment that will answer.
You do them and we shall look at them.
But and also ask for proper. But the most important thing is the raising of capitalization of UDC.
Okay. But as one of Nile Hotel purchased shares in Igongo, when did Nile Hotel become an investment arm of government?